Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Born Podcast, brought to you from our studio here in central Pennsylvania. I'm your host, Nathan Imboden. You can find a full replay of these broadcasts on our website at questmont.com/bornpodcast. You can find us anywhere you do social media or listen to your podcasts. When you search for The Born Podcast, make sure to click that like and follow button so you can stay up to date on all our episodes. And as a reminder, we have the privilege of being able to champion the message of entrepreneurship and business ownership by interviewing business owners and leaders right here in our region in central Pennsylvania. Get to peel back the onion to learn really what it takes to start, grow, and run successful organizations. And today is no exception. And I'm excited for maybe a little bit more of a selfish reason, because to my right is Heather Holloway, who runs Holloway Media Solutions, and they actually produce a lot of this work for you that you get to watch every day and you get hit with on social media. They're doing all that work behind the scenes. So it's really cool to have you in the studio being able to actually interview you now about your business. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Nathan. It is a true honor and pleasure to be invited on your phenomenal studio. If you haven't been here, you got to get here. It's gorgeous and beautiful. So thank you for providing this opportunity and for having me here. And I'm also very selfish because this is like meeting a friend. Because we've been only meeting online.
Yeah. It is nice to be past the virtual side of things and be face to face. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I need to break the ice because I'm a little starstruck. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you all might not realize it, but we have a almost real life celebrity right here. She's been on national television.
I have.
She's great fame and notoriety. A little show that you may have heard of called Ellen's Game of Games. Our esteemed guest was a guest? Did they call him a guest? Participant? What did they say? Contestant?
Yeah.
On Ellen's Game of Games.
Yeah.
That is
Sucker.
awesome.
Sucker was the other title.
I remember I was watching it with my wife. We're sitting at home. And I said, wait, and this was actually before we started working together.
Oh, really?
I remembered seeing you on Central PA Support Small Business. You were doing some work and some posting through that Facebook page. And I said, hey, I know her. It's like, she lives up north. She's, from my neck of the woods. And tell us a little bit about that before we jump into, the real important stuff.
Sure. So yeah, it was crazy even getting this booked on my schedule. I just got to tell you, as a celebrity, no, just kidding. It's so sweet that you brought that up. Yeah, so.
Thank you for carving out the time.
Yeah, well, you meant a lot to me. So so Ellen's Game of Games, I auditioned in the fall of 2019.
Okay.
And then didn't hear from them until April of 2020. And then, of course, we know what happened.
Yeah.
A couple months later, as COVID was starting to not really lighten up. I think it was actually getting, I guess maybe it was lighting up a little bit. But yeah, so August of 2020 is when I flew out. And then May of 21, my episode aired. It was wild for a little kid, or a little, a kid from a small town, one red light, Likens, Pennsylvania, putting you on the map. To go out to LA and do that was just incredible. Life-changing too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they say LA, Likens is the LA of central Pennsylvania, I've heard.
I feel it.
It probably felt a little bit kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, we just have one pseudo-celebrity in Likens. We're growing it there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, give us a little bit of your background now. So you personally, and then we'll talk about how you got started with your business.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so central Pennsylvania native, grew up in Likens, go Upper Dauphin Trojans. But being a small town kid, the thing was to get out.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out. Like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see everything, experience all the food, travel the world, do the thing. And so I ended up in Florida.
Really? What part?
Florida, Orlando.
Okay.
Yep. Went to college in Orlando. Spent many years there. Really grew my chops in business and creativity and harnessing my power there. I lived in the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, right.
Disney was my backyard, right? So I really got to see some cool things. And then in 2018, life took a change, and I came back home to Pennsylvania. So as LeBron went, down to Florida, I took my talents from Florida back to Pennsylvania.
To South Central PA.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Put like I said, Likens on the map. But so now, when I made that transition in 2018, I started my business. I was in it for almost a year.
Okay.
So I started my business in 2017 before I made the transition back here.
Okay.
And now we're about to celebrate 6 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's
Thank
very
you.
cool. I should note that I grew up in Halifax. I'm a Wildcat. So when she says go Trojans, it hits me a little deep because we would have been rivals. Back then, yeah. But
No,
yeah, we put all
teammates.
that beside behind us. But so tell us a little bit about the business and what you guys do, what you focus on and specialize in, and how you work with clients.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much for asking. Yeah, so like I said, in 2017, I started Holloway Media Services, and it started out of happenstance. I actually had my first real business was called Snap Your Selfie, and it was a photo booth company. Man, I loved it, and I was really good at it. I mean, who doesn't want me at their wedding being like, come here, get pictures, It was like a photo strip. It was really cool. Ton of fun, but it was nights and weekends. And I'm like, I don't want to do the nights and weekends anymore.
Yeah.
I did that in television.
Yeah.
I did that in radio. I was like, no, I want the not even 9 to 5. I'm an entrepreneur. I want like the 4-hour a day work week, right?
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, I had that business, Snap Your Selfie, and I was at a local chamber event. This was in North Florida at the time.
Okay.
And since I was trying to promote my photo booth company, somebody came up and was like, oh, I'm having a really tough time with social media. Do you know anything about it? And I was like, well, heck yeah, I can do your social media. I was in television. I was in radio.
Right.
I can create content. I came out of the womb with a crayon. Like I love being creative. I can do this. So that's how I launched my career, out of happenstance. That was my first client. It was an advertising agency in North Central Florida. So all of a sudden I have a portfolio of clients. Nathan, I don't know what I'm doing except for I know how to make content.
Yeah.
I don't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward a couple years later, here I am as a social media marketing expert, an inspirational speaker, a voiceover talent. I'm about to write some books because that's what they say you need to do. So I'm gonna write some books.
So you do it, yeah.
Man, and I'm just loving life. And our agency, I mean, when I started, Nathan, I had first of all, I made the most money I've ever made in my life. Like I had people coming out wanting to work with me. I didn't even know what I was selling at the time. I didn't know what to charge.
Yeah.
I even was charging clients $99 a month to do what I'm doing now. And it seems silly, but I didn't know what I did. First, I didn't know my worth. Yeah. And I didn't know what value I was providing.
Part of the learning process. We'll touch on that then.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what happened. I just, in 2017, launched out on my own, and I'm not looking back.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, you were a solo at the time, right? Just for yourself. What does the business look like now?
Yeah. So solo for the first, let me see, I started in 2017. So for the first 2.5 years, I was solo. But then, right as COVID hit, I had a former colleague and really good friend reach out to me because we stayed in touch for a long time. Her name is Amy Schultz, and she's my right-hand girl. Amy, you know Amy.
There she is.
Oh man, Amy, we love you so much. So COVID, right? Furloughs, layoffs, nobody knows what's happening. Businesses are shutting down. It's really tough. And she reaches out and she's like, do you know of anybody that's hiring? And I was like, well, I am. You want to try? you want to come aboard? And she's like, yeah. We started out with 10 hours a week, and now she's, nearly full time. So
awesome.
She's just celebrated 3 years with Holloway Media Services, and I'm just so forever grateful because without her, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be experiencing this growth. Yeah. After Amy, I was able to hire my cousin Joey. So now we have a 3-person team. And then we just brought on another social media strategist, Lo to Cody. Yeah. So, we've grown from me doing it all to now being able to lead. Yep. And they're leading their departments, and we're servicing and doing really great work. And I just look back and I'm just like in awe. Yeah. Just in awe because I'm working with the really cool people. Yeah. Yeah.
The people make it, don't they?
They make it everything. Make it or break it.
Yeah.
Yep. Brings me. Actually, I'm getting a little tearful.
I can see it.
Next subject, because I'm getting a little. It means a lot.
It does. It's true. Very cool. So, let's touch quickly on this pricing thing, because there's a lot we could get into, I think, in terms of why do entrepreneurs underprice themselves, because it happens all the time. Well, you either have there's this feast or famine. So you either underprice yourself, or you think you're way more valuable than you actually are. So you go in and say, well, I should be charging $1,000 an hour because I'm Heather. I was on Ellen's Game of Games. You should pay me whatever you want. How was my voiceover?
I love that.
You?
That was
Okay,
good. That was good.
All right.
Yeah.
But where was the point when you realized, okay, I'm definitely not charging enough, and I'm now getting a good idea of what my value is, whether it's what my time is worth, what this service itself is worth, whatever it is. Talk us through realizing that.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't charge $99 a month anymore.
Not anymore,
nor
son.
should you. And it's worth every penny, but you have to get there somehow. So, so what did that journey look like?
Yeah, right. So in the beginning, it was feast or famine. I was coming out of being an employee with a paycheck, into the land of opportunity and hunting and gathering, right? So, and being a first generation entrepreneur and not knowing what I don't know. So, yeah, so I in the beginning, it was, what would you pay me? And I kind of was just lofting out numbers. I did a little research. I mean, I went online and was trying to find, but even back in 2017, social media, not a lot of content was out there for me to look at. And not a lot of people were putting their prices out there either. So I think I was in business for 2 years before I started taking, educating myself seriously. So, and that's when I joined a mastermind.
Okay.
We were talking about this a little bit early before we got on the show.
Yeah.
But I joined a mastermind, and being in a group of people that have more experience than you, and I'm not going to say smarter, but they had more experience than me, really opened my eyes to what can be. Well, so I'm looking at a peer who's charging 10 times, right? If I'm charging $99 and they're charging $900, it's like, well, wait a minute. But I'm in radio and television. And, it's like, why am I not? And it simply was a choice. So then it was a mindset shift. So then I was like, okay, I have the tactical, you need to charge this, but it's different when it comes off of the paper and when I'm asking you, looking you in the eyes to pay me for that. That's a different ballgame.
Oh, yeah.
So then I learned, thanks to the mastermind, was imposter syndrome. Didn't know I have it. Didn't know I had it. But I was a chronic user of it.
Yeah.
So I had to learn about that. So it was a mindset game at that point. So now I'm like, okay, I understand what maybe the industry is charging and what I could charge for. And now I got to go get it.
Yeah.
And I got to learn how to go get it. So I had to make the mindset shift.
Well, so much of what we deal with is up here, or between here, as they may say. And what was that group? Was it specific to your industry? Is that? It
was for digital marketers, and it was called Apex. And I think it might now be defunct, but I just want to say thank you to Dominic and Doug for being my Sherpas during that time.
That's awesome.
And now Leanne, which is a new business partner of mine, she came out of that mastermind too. So
cool.
So very many thanks to Apex.
Yeah, awesome. All right. I'm curious about the business, because there's maybe whether it's right or wrong, there's maybe a perception that the business that you are in would have gone through this like massive, I don't want to say growth spurt, but attention piece time when COVID hit and everybody was at home.
Yeah.
And a lot of people weren't working, so they were doing what? They were glued to their phones and they were on social media and whatnot. So that has shifted a little bit since lockdowns have stopped and people are going back to work, going back into the office now. You're seeing remote work still there, but not as prevalent. What did that shift look like for you in terms of how you built strategy for people and trying to track results and whatnot? Because I would imagine that there's a natural drop in activity because people are back to life a little bit more than they used to be.
Yeah. Well, the good news and the bad news is cell phone usage and social media usage really it's on the uptick and hasn't taken too much of a hit.
Interesting.
So if you have employees, they're on social. They just are. I mean, they just are. They just are. And I got to tell you that, it is addicting, right? It's meant to keep people on. So, so maybe, maybe we've trailed a little bit on consumption, but it is still strong and it is still prevalent. I will tell you that personally, though, when I was personally on social media during that time, watching all of these agencies pop out of nowhere saying, your business is going to fail, hire my agency, it actually really was, did damage to my mental game. So I had to get off or eliminate social in a way because I felt like I'm losing out. I don't know what I'm doing. And it took me away from strategy, from trying to help my customers grow. So it was a really interesting time for me personally.
Yeah. So there was a long period of time. You mentioned some of the stuff you were struggling with. I struggled with all the negativity that was out there as well, and the polarizing content, and we all have our own political beliefs, but I don't need everybody to be ramming it down my throat every single minute of every single day. And I got to a point where I said, for my own well-being, I need to because you get in this funk of like, this world's going to crap, and it doesn't. And I don't think that matters what side of the aisle you sit on. It doesn't matter. It all seems like it's negative. And in a lot of ways, in all reality, it's not as bad as what seems to be pushed out there. But we get in that kind of belief, and so I'm curious that it's fascinating to me that activity still hasn't really slowed down by and large for a lot of people that are still on and scrolling and doing their thing.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because as a whole, as a human race, we're hurting.
Yeah.
We're hurting, man. We are
That's
hurting.
True.
So what you're seeing is just a reflection of internal battles that are going on. So it's like,
I don't know, it's an outlet.
It's a public forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a public forum to maybe release some pressure from, that's the valve that they can release some pressure. So maybe if you can just look at it from that standpoint and just let that roll off your back. But it does, even reading that, I don't watch horror movies anymore.
Yeah.
Because the scenes had a long-term effect on my well-being. Back in the day, my friend and I, Becky, right? We would watch horror movies all the time. Watch horror movies all the time.
What was I used to watch horror movies too, all the time.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Pet Cemetery, Saw.
Ugh. Yeah.
Ugh.
they were my favorite because I'd be like, I like it because, the mental game and the psychological. And now I think back, like, kind of what was I doing to myself?
Yeah,
right?
our bodies. If you didn't know, there's scientific data that so social media has a mental effect on us. Horror movies has a actual physical effect on us. Our adrenaline, our cortisone, another scientific term, the fight or flight. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the fight or flight. That thing, that all happens. So I eliminated. Horror movies too. So I eliminate my social media consumption, even though I'm a social media agency owner. I'm like, it's a tool for my businesses to grow. It's a phenomenal tool. And if you're able to get on, enjoy the content that you want, and then get off as soon as it doesn't serve you, well done.
Yeah.
Find what works for you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So what have you learned out over these 6 years in, just celebrating 6 years?
Yeah.
What are some of your biggest lessons that you've learned that you think are going to propel you to another 6 and then hopefully another 12 after that, and then, another 24 maybe? Yeah, who knows how long you decide you want to keep going.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson I learned is I can do it. I can do it. I am doing it.
Yeah.
And even on the worst day, if I can choose to continue to take a step forward. It doesn't have to be a huge leap. It doesn't have to be more than one step. But even if at my worst, I'm able to take one step to keep the momentum going, I will be okay. I'll be all right. And last year, I almost didn't take the step. Because last year, my business dang near killed me. And I'm not kidding. I had heart pain. I developed heart pain. I was so stressed. Went to see the doctor. I'm a healthy young female, no problems with me. But they're like, we need you to get an EKG, Heather, because this is serious. And so the days would get so bad, Nathan, when I'd tell my wife, my soon-to-be wife at that time, hey, just to let you know that this is hurting really bad today, just in case.
Yeah.
There's no way to live.
No.
So I decided to take responsibility for my stress and my emotion, get a check on those emotions, and so I did. And August 13th, that's why I wear this little pin. 13, that's when I chose. So after that, I realized that if I can come out of that and prosper, I literally can do anything.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Another example of a lot of it's up here.
All of it.
Yeah.
100% of it is up there. And so I finally took all of the advice of meditating and chilling out seriously. And the moment I did, Nathan, the very next week, I procured out of the blue $16,000 worth of life-saving business. And then a client from 2 years calls me out of the blue and wants to do not only business with me, but throw me business and feed me business. In fact, feed me so much business that the business is taking a turn and moving in and shifting into a different direction. That's the power of, as an entrepreneur, if you can get control of this little thing.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. We'll talk more offline about some of that stuff, because there's some deeper things there that are personally I'd love to hear about.
You got it.
But not for here. So
that's the After Hours
podcast.
It is.
That's right. Yeah. Born After Dark. Yeah. So if people are watching, if business owners, entrepreneurs are watching that have not either jumped into any social media marketing or any of that type of advertising for their business, or maybe they're doing it and not getting success or having success, in general, what would you say to that? Why it's important, why it's relevant, and maybe even across all spectrums? Because there may be a misconception out there that, well, if I only work with this type of person, there's just no reason for me to be on social media because there's not many of them out there, or whatever it might be, which I would disagree, because
100%.
They're still out there. But what would you say to those people?
Yeah, well, you always want to be building your audience yesterday, and social is but one part of the marketing mix. We don't want to put all the eggs in the proverbial social basket, right? We need to put it as part of the overall mix. But you do want to be there because humans are spending over 3 hours a day on their phone, and the majority of that time is on social. You can go out and look at any statistic, HubSpot, Hootsuite, Digital Marketer. Go to reliable resources. Pew, right? They do really great stats and deep dives on social media use. It is addictive. People are on it, and your business needs to be on it. Even if you think you're business to business and you sell a cog for a shipping container or whatever, your person is still a human being consuming entertaining, thoughtful, educational, inspirational content on social. And so if you can take the leap to show up on those channels, you will become magnetic and bring in your prospects. Even if you think you sell the weirdest thing. And there are only but 2 people out there, you will find them on social. I promise you will. Yeah, social's a great thing, but again, it's one part of the mix.
My Vistage chair talks about the buyer's journey, and I think how our society has shifted away from this idea of just a sales or buyer's funnel, which is more kind of granular, and you go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. But you got to get somebody to that funnel, which is the journey part of it. And I think the social aspect of it, the social media aspect of it, is one that's missing, because there's a lot of touch points that a lot of people typically need before they're comfortable getting into your funnel.
Yes.
And that's going to be one of them. And having a good presence, having a good reputation is definitely part of it, and is, I think, often overlooked by a lot of businesses.
Yeah, it's overlooked by a lot, the majority of businesses. And those that are on social, God bless, it's just they don't know what content to create. It's it's not store hours, it's not your latest promo, you can't be selling all the time. the way that marketing has shifted now is we need to tell story and we need to be authentic. Authentic, right? Hot word.
Yeah.
But it is true. We need to hear from the founder. We have to understand the struggles and tribulations. How else will we relate?
Right.
Who can relate?
Yeah.
You gotta give them stuff to relate to.
Yeah.
So find the things that makes you relatable. What makes you relatable? Are you facing the same struggles that your ideal audience is facing? And then can you show up and be the guide for them? So you know, with social, it is the biggest water cooler ever out there.
Yeah.
You want to show up there, and you want to show up genuinely, and that's through story.
Well, yeah, I think I definitely late to the game in adopting social. You're giving me more credit than I probably deserve, Joy. But I know it's necessary, and it's also the partnership with you guys has been phenomenal, because I'm similar to you, where I don't spend a lot of time on social media personally, which means for me, I have no idea what I should be doing and what draws people in, what's compelling, what's not annoying. I know what is annoying, at least for me, and I know I don't want to be that, which thankfully we're not,
right,
because we have somebody and a group that actually knows what they're doing to help that out.
Oh, you don't want to dance on TikTok? No.
Oh, no.
That's not just social media? Isn't that what we do in social? We just dance on TikTok?
There's this inside joke where I have a lot of different personalities that I think we just created a new one. We'll have to come up with a good name. There's Nathan, there's Nerdthin that has not been revealed yet.
Ooh, can't wait to see
and
that.
I think the dancer on TikTok maybe will somehow reveal itself.
I can't wait to see that. I'm
no,
not going to get on TikTok, but I can't wait for somebody to share that with me.
Yeah, I don't know that you really want to see that, but we'll find out. But it's absolutely necessary because it is a medium that is just so consumed. Talk about, though, the importance of the different, because there's, I mean, we know the big players, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, but, you know, you have now some of these obscure ones, which I would guess aren't really pushed out. And I got to be honest, now I don't even remember the one, like, what was the one that...
There's Clubhouse back in the day.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. But what was like Truth Social? Like,
Okay,
so
I'm gonna
those
let you in
weird
on the
ones
secret.
that have been created by... I'm assuming that those aren't mediums that most people are putting a lot... I say most people aren't putting a lot of effort into.
I would venture a guess not. I didn't even
Okay.
hear of that one. And, you know...
Well, that's Trump's...
Oh, yeah.
Trump's
well, then
social media platform,
yeah.
I think. So,
okay. Well, yeah. Oh, good for him. But yeah, so... Yeah, but the thing is, they're coming late to the game, though. They're coming late to the game.
Yeah.
So if you're going to come and want to, like, shift the industry on social or get attention, you're going to have to do what Google did back in the day.
Right.
When search engines, right, you would go to Yahoo and it's just the load times were terrible.
Yeah,
You'd go on there
right.
just splattered with ads, and then Google showed up and was like, well, we're going to just take that all away. We're just going to put a search bar, and we're going to change how we do it. Until that happens,
Right.
We're trained already to go to Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, and YouTube. Oh, and TikTok. But I'm not on
yeah.
and Snapchat
Right,
if you're
yeah.
a kid, whatever. But yeah.
And they're all, well, maybe not all, because I don't think we're on TikTok, right? Yeah.
Not with us.
Yeah.
They're like, no.
No,
Not
we're
yet.
not on
Not yet. Till the next
I'm not
Nathan
sure.
comes
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Oh gosh, but they all, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn especially, is it, and maybe, well, I would think all three are important in maybe different ways, because the audiences are a little bit different. The way the content that you put out there is going to be a little bit different because of the platform itself. But they all should be a part of a strategy, right?
It really should. I would tell you to go to the top ones. When we work with clients, we get you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Google My Business. We get you on those 6 platforms. Those are the big platforms out there. If you look at data, YouTube's the top social media platform, followed by Facebook. And then way down the list comes Instagram and TikTok, and then Twitter and LinkedIn fall way down below. So the attention is still on YouTube. Why? Because Google, right, owns YouTube. It's the second biggest search engine. So if you're going to change your windshield wiper or whatever, you're going to YouTube. You're just doing it. So they have the attention. You gotta be on all those platforms these days. Before, you could work a platform and be all right. And if you are a solopreneur and you can only do one platform, by golly, do that. Do that. Perfect strategy. Go deep on one platform. But if you can, you want to spread yourself out like butter across those platforms, because you never know. You might be a YouTube guy and I might be an Instagram girl. And so, but I need to know, we both want to know about a brand. You got to be there. So you got to be, email to and blog. Those are really, really important to have in your arsenal.
Awesome. It's very true. And like I said, if only there was a good group that could help you with that kind of stuff. I mean, all right. So I've done some not so shameless plugs thus far.
Because I'm terrible at promoting my own business.
Why don't I let you do a promotion? All right. People are watching this. They're going to say, I need help with this. I need help with strategy. I don't know where I'm headed. I need an expert to help me guide, or to help guide me. What's the best way for people to learn about your organization and what you guys do?
The best thing to do is go to HollowayMediaServices.com, or if you go to any of those channels, you will find us there, except for TikTok and except for Snapchat. But you're going to find us everywhere. Every single week, or excuse me, not every single week, bi-weekly, I have a podcast called Social Media Success for Professionals. So you can get that wherever you stream your podcasts. And you can text us, man. Text me, 717-288-9969. Text me, and you can reach out there. But if you want to work with us, we'd love to have a conversation, see if we're a good fit, see if you like our style, and that would be awesome. But HollowayMediaServices.com. Text us or find us anywhere where you like to get on social.
Awesome. I've had a blast. I've had a blast doing this in person. Because like you said, it's like got two long lost pals that are finally coming together and seeing each other in person for the first time. And I think we're both going to agree. We're both better looking in person than we are digitally.
I mean, don't mind if I do. This guy.
But this has been such a blast. And again, I'd be remiss if I didn't say how appreciative we are of all the work that you do for the podcast. If you like what we're doing on the podcast, that's a walking billboard for what your organization can do for you guys. So take what we're doing as a great case study for what they can do. But it's been awesome having you on. I hope you all have enjoyed the show. Check out the website. Text her all the time. Not at the middle of the night. There's a cutoff hour.
I go on D&D.
Anytime. Text her. But reach out. It can help you grow your business, help give you the visibility that you need, help connect you to the clients and the people that you want to be connected to, and do it in a real meaningful and purposeful way. So again, thanks so much. It's been a blast. Everybody at home, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you on the next episode of the Born Podcast.
Cool. Many thanks. Many thanks, Nathan.